All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to be here with the members new and continuing for the Board on Professional Responsibility. I'm Anna Blackburn Rigsby, and I serve as the Chief Judge of our DC Court of Appeals. And I look forward each year to having a chance to greet you and meet the new members and welcome you, and also to say thank you and words of appreciation to the members who continue to serve. And this year, Bernadette Sargent is continuing to serve, and she is our board chair. Rob Walker is the new board vice chair. Sally Blumenthal is in her final year as a public member of the board. Margaret Cassidy is our attorney member, along with Tim Gilbertson. Bill Hindle is a public member, and we're happy to have you as part of this board. And Sharon Rice Hicks is an attorney member, and Michael Tigar is an attorney member, along with Leslie Spiegel, who is one of our new attorney members. So good to see you all. I usually like to just take a few minutes to say a few words and share a few brief updates on behalf of the Court of Appeals, but we just started our 2024-2025 term this week. We usually do a welcome to the new term breakfast for our dedicated Court of Appeals clerks staff members, who many of whom have served the court for decades. And then we also welcome our new law clerks, and we have breakfast together. All of the court staff, our new court law clerks, and our judges. And we did that on Tuesday of this week. So we're off and running. We'll begin hearing oral arguments starting next week. And, you know, it's been very busy. I think those of you who've been with the board have heard me say each year that we continue to struggle with vacancies on the Court of Appeals and on the Superior Court. We have 7 of our 9 allocated spots filled. And 2 vacancies may not sound like a lot, but when you're a group of 9, the 2 judicial vacancies represents about 22% of our judicial engine power. And at the same time, our number of senior judges has dwindled. I know when I joined the Court of Appeals about 18 years ago, we had 13 senior judges and 9 active judges for a steady period of time. And now we've been down to 7 judges for most of the last 10 years, if you can believe that. We had a couple of new appointments, but then we had judges retire. And we're down to 5 senior judges now. And that really makes a big difference in our ability to hear as many cases. But we've got some hardworking judges. And we worked really hard over the summer to push out a number of cases that have been pending. And now we start all over again. But we do, as you may have heard, have 2 nominees. Joseph Palmore, who's an appellate practitioner at Morrison and Foster, and Carmen Iguina, who is an attorney at a civil rights law firm here in the District of Columbia. And they've had their Senate committee hearing, and our hearings are before the Senate Committee on Homeland Security in the District of Columbia. And we had, the challenge now is we are waiting for a full Senate floor vote. Our nominees on the Court of Appeals, the Superior Court, as well as a number of pending federal nominees. So sort of a race against time until this Congress ends at the end of the year, given that it's an election year. But we're hopeful. So I try to stay hopeful because the alternative is depressing, frankly. So I hope we do get some new judges soon. We had a record number of people sitting for and taking the July DC bar exam. We had over 2,500 people take the exam, and the number is growing each year. As you may have heard, we're we, along with other states, are looking at the advent or the coming of the next gen bar exam, which will be administered in some jurisdictions for the first time in 2026. And our Committee on Admissions and our court has not yet decided when we will do the first administration of that new exam. But that's going to shake things up and change them a bit. The focus of the new exam is different. You know, the traditional bar exam that we all took, the focus was on more doctrinal learning, the tenets of all the various areas of law. And for the next gen bar exam, there'll be some of that, but there is more focus on practice ready skills for new lawyers coming from law schools. And so I am on a national task force of justices of some of the state high courts around the country, just looking at the rollout of that next gen bar exam and also talking with academics and law school deans as they have to shift how they prepare students for the new exam. So I thought I would just give you a few updates. We have stood up, I guess, one of the first in the country among our state high courts, AI, artificial intelligence task force, multidisciplinary with our judges, court IT staff, courtroom clerks, lawyers in the bar and in the community, looking at use cases for AI in the courts and for those who practice before the courts, and also looking at the types of guardrails and areas of concern that we might need to make sure we're aware of. And then I guess our last update is about a year ago, we stood up what we're calling our regulatory reform task force, building on some of the work of members of the DC Bar to look at new ways to try to close the access to justice gap created on the civil side by the really rapid increase in the number of unrepresented litigants in civil or non-criminal cases, largely at the trial court in every area, but increasingly in our appellate cases before the Court of Appeals. And so that task force is looking at different options, including whether other types of professionals could do some of the work, helping people read documents, file documents, to help take the expense of hiring a lawyer, to help ease that burden and to provide other tools to unrepresented litigants. So we're anxious to see where that report and recommendation comes out, but they are doing a tremendous amount of outreach to the community, to law schools, to the bar, to practitioners, to see what could work as another option. And I think that is about it for updates along those lines. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have before we get to the main business of the day, which is to swear you in for a new term. Okay, well, I don't see any questions or comments. I just want to say thank you to all of you for your continued or your new service. This work is important. The work that you do in reviewing the recommendations from the hearing committees is important when we get the record on appeal. And we know it takes time, and we know you have day jobs. So it really matters. And I think it helps to promote and increase public trust and confidence in the courts and in the bar and in the practice of law here in DC. So just want to say thank you. And that both me and my colleagues really appreciate your service. So with that, we will get to the heart of the matter. I know we're being live streamed, which I think is great. That adds to transparency and public trust and confidence when people see that we have hardworking volunteers who take seriously looking into matters where they're maybe concerned about attorneys not complying with our rules of professional conduct. So thank you all so very much. And with that, if we are ready to take the oath, if you could signify by saying that you are. You can unmute for this part if you want to. It sounds so weird when I'm talking to myself here. Are you all ready to take the oath of office?
Yes.
Yes. If you could raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Sharon Rice Hicks,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will perform the duties
that I will perform the duties
delegated to me by the DC Court of Appeals
delegated to me by the DC Court of Appeals
pursuant to the rules governing the bar.
pursuant to the rules governing the bar,
And that without regard to race,
And that without
regard to race,
creed, or economic circumstances,
creed,
or
or
economic
circumstances,
I will adjudicate cases of attorney discipline
I will
adjudicate
cases
of attorney discipline
fairly and with diligence.
fairly and with
diligence.
And this I promise.
And
this I
promise.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to a new term or to your first term of service on this really important board that is essential to the disciplinary process. And as I said before, it's a tremendous public service. It's a tremendous service to the court and a service to the bar. So thank you all very much. Jim, is there anything else that we need to cover today?
No, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for coming. I think that's it.
Well, thank you all very much. I have to say, I did miss seeing you all in person a little bit in the hearing room, and so it's always good that we have the options to do it this way so that we could get everyone together. But thank you